Not too long ago, Puyo Puyo Champions was released for all current-gen consoles and PC. So far, it's been very successful, and people are having a lot of fun with it. Hopefully this is the start of Puyo becoming a big hit in the West, because a game as fun as Puyo not being one of the premier puzzle games of choice is pretty sad. I've been into Puyo for a while. I was introduced to it by a friend through Puyo Versus back when I was in college, and I've been a pretty casual fan ever since. I've played a lot of the games, and I enjoy the silly stories and characters in them, but most of them have unfortunately never seen an official Western release. We have translation patches from the very passionate fans, but we didn't have a Puyo game in the US for a long time, until Puyo Tetris a couple years ago. Ignoring Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine and Kirby's Avalanche, I know, ignoring Kirby, harsh, we did get 2 Puyo games before this. One was for the GBA, and I've never played it, I don't really know too much about it. But the other one we got was much more,
On the contrary, just who are you calling uncool? I just can't figure out why you're so uncool.
interesting. Puyo Pop Fever is... It's a Puyo game, yeah. It actually looks like this. The camera, it definitely does this. Oh, and the voice acting absolutely sounds like this.
I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize. Well, go easy on me, will you? You too. Now she's got me stuttering.
Alright, getting really real. I love Fever Mode in the Puyo games. I actually even prefer it to Sue, or the normal kind of Puyo, the one you see in a game like Puyo Tetris. I'll concede that Sue is absolutely more balanced, but the craziness of Fever just always keeps me coming back. There's a lot of reasons, and one day I'll probably make a full video detailing and comparing the 2 different modes, because they're both great for very different reasons. But the first attempt at Fever Mode, which was Puyo Pop Fever, it wasn't that great, I think, but it did pave the way for the mode we have today, so that's nice. So what even is Fever Mode? Well, each character is given a unique drop set, or the amount of color of Puyo you drop at once, and the ability to enter Fever Mode, where chains are preset, and you simply have to set them off until your timer runs out. You activate Fever Mode by offsetting your opponent's chain. Basically, if they attack you, you attack back before the damage is dealt. It's really fun and a unique twist on the way that normal Puyo works. I've been rambling on for a while now, but I thought it was important to get some history out of the way, since Puyo is far from the most well-known game series out there. It's going to seem pretty unimportant in the video, since, well, we want to avoid fever in Puyo Pop Fever. The rules for this run are actually really simple. We clear all 3 modes, the Run course, the Wacka Wacka course, and the Hara Hara course, not this one, without entering Fever Mode once. Only Amity, or Rafina for the Hara Hara course, aren't allowed to enter Fever Mode, though. If the opponent does and we still win, that's fine. If we enter Fever Mode at all, we have to SD. Building up the Fever gauge is fine, we just can't let it reach the max. Also, this will be done on Hard Mode because, if you couldn't tell, I'm a little bit insane. Okay, I'm very insane. Whatever, let's stop wasting time and get right into things with the Run course.
Once upon a time, in some other world, there lived a young girl whose dream was to become a wonderfully clever magic user. Her name is Amity, and she is at her studies again today.
I mean, there's really not all that much to say. These 3 go down really, really easily. This was made to introduce people to the idea of Fever Mode, so it makes sense, but none of it is very difficult. The highlight here is the voice acting for sure.
Teacher, I think I've got the hang of this. That's good to hear, young lady. Then, I guess it's test time. What? A test?
But what we see later on is way more wicked than this. For now, we move on to the Wacka Wacka course.
Hello, the name's Amity. I'm hitting the books hard to become a wonderful magic user, but today isn't the day for studying. Professor Accord seems to have misplaced, or should I say, lost her flying cane. She said she'd give a reward to the person who finds it, so everyone is psyched. And of course, that goes for little old me too.
Oh, I've never wanted to break the rules for Why You Should Watch so badly. I really want to do one on how stupid and incredible that just was. The first couple of stages are pretty uncool, and it wasn't until stage 5 against Klug where things started getting a little difficult. The biggest hurdle for this run is, of course, that I can't keep offsetting the CPU. If I do, I build Fever Gauge, and eventually that'll get me into Fever Mode. Obviously, we can't have that, so I need to be fast and strong enough to take them down before they can get a chain started, or even worse, get themselves into Fever Mode. Easier said than done, but eventually in Klug's case.
The sun was in my eyes.
Alright, time for stage 6, and
Daddy says 2 on 1 is only fair and square. The only thing square here are your heads.
okay, first of all, rude? And second, their heads aren't even square for the most part, they're pretty round. Come on, Amity. Come on. Anyway, this is another tricky stage, since at this point, the CPU is much faster in setting up stronger chains. Typically, they got 3 or 4 chains in a pretty short amount of time, and while that's easy to deal with normally, we really can't offset, making it a lot harder to deal with. And on top of that, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but this game, or at least the GameCube version, does not control very well. There's a delay between when your Puyo lands and when the next one drops, which really feels off to me. Rotating Puyo in this game is also a complete 50-50. Sometimes they just don't rotate when you want them to, and other times they rotate, but they do it in the wrong direction. And I know they're rotating in the wrong direction because I only rotate with the A button in Puyo Pop Fever because I know this is an issue. And it still happens. This combined with the challenge run caused a lot of frustration. But, eventually, for sure this time it was sheer luck, I won. Next up is Arlie. I really don't know what's better, the way she says her name, or the fact that she opens by saying howdy do. Moving on, Arl is actually pretty easy. The only thing kind of annoying is that this is when the different color of Puyo increased from 4 to 5, making it a lot easier to mismanage your colors. Her drop set is the super basic Sue drop set though, so you never really have to worry about her getting a full square piece and annoying you with single offsets. Time your attack right and she'll be saying phooey before you know it. But it's time to get real for the final stage. Mild spoilers by the way. Oh boy. This one took me a long time since the CPU finally started doing what I was dreading the most. Spamming offset until they activate Fever, then either hit me hard with a lot of garbage, or make me offset into Fever myself and lose the challenge run. The 5-colored Puyo also caused a lot of stress, and I swear the RNG drawing Puyo was bugged. Always messed me up, but it was always conveniently there for Popoy. Plenty of times I thought I had it, but a bunch of times he snuck in last minute and stole the win. It took me a not meowing 46 minutes, but I won. It felt like I got really lucky again, but I don't care, I'll take it. And all that, just for a stupid Fever ending where nothing happens.
Yes! I've got the flying cane! Congratulations, Miss Amity. Oh, Miss Accord! Here's your flying cane back!
Thank you. I guess I should give you that reward for your help.
No, not really. You don't have to. I don't? Well, if you insist, then no reward it is.
Ugh, get really real. And that's it for the Wacka Wacka course, but there's still the Hara Hara course to go.
Now that was in poor taste, letting that irritating Amity go on ahead. But we proper ladies never lose our composure. Calmly, coolly, always a step ahead of the game. Look out, Amity. I, Rafina, will bring sorrow to your tearful fate. Ha ha ha! Oh, la-ti-da!
Right away, Onion Pixie in the first stage was really annoying. I got very unlucky a bunch of times, and I guess I wasn't prepared for how aggressive the stage 1 fight would be. All it took was a quick all clear to win though, so it wasn't that hard. Alright, who's our boss fight for stage 2?
Salutations, Rafina. You out cane searching too? Oh, Clue. Damn, if it isn't Mr. Goody Two-Shoes.
Oh no, she said a bad word. Abort, abort, abort! Klug really wasn't all that hard. I was still at the point where I could just all clear him twice and win. Not worth the trouble. Stage 3 is against the Ocean Prince, and I know this video has more to do with the challenge run than the voice acting, kind of, but I have to talk about Ocean Prince's voice. Listen to this! Even ignoring the dialogue, this is the acting of legends. Of legends!
Hi, you there. Come hither, you peasant. How dare you insult me? I'm the Prince of the Sea. You and your frequent insults are unpardonable. You will be punished.
And there really isn't much else to say about Ocean Prince. It took me longer to finish, not because the fight was hard, but because I was so distracted laughing at the voice.
Chivalry is
So
dead.
funny.
Ow,
Okay, no more joking around. We're about to get really real. Stage 4 took me almost 50 minutes. Yeah, longer than Papoy took me with Amity. This is the point where the CPU starts making chains really, really quickly. The good news is that they tend to go for 3 chains at the minimum, so if you get something really big really early on, you can hit hard and then chip over time. For some reason, Tarataru doesn't really like to offset. If he did, this would be impossible, straight up. But as is, I was ready to declare it impossible early on because of how quickly he set up his chains, but on one of my first attempts, I almost had it and choked it away. I knew it was possible and thus spent 50 whole minutes trying to beat this guy. But even worse is Stage 5, which...
So now, you will dance for you. Pay attention to my elegant dance steps. Good luck dancing without any legs.
Rafina, that was uncalled for! Rude! Anyway,
Indeed.
Stage 5 is special, in that you harpy stack.
Indeed.
Basically, she stacks up the far left column, and then does the same on the far right column. When she's done with that, in this game at least, she sets off a short chain.
Indeed.
Not too hard to pull off, but really annoying in this case, and she always gets a bunch of 1 chains to counter our chains and get to fever. And if she gets to fever, and oh boy will she get to fever, the fight is over. The color RNG is absolutely in Yu's favor too. I know that you and the opponent get the exact same pieces of Puyo, but they know what those pieces are gonna be. If she can offset, she will get the color she needs to offset. No matter how many colors it takes to build up the fever meter, she will get what she needs, and most of the time, only pull off a 1 chain. Which means a whole lot of the annoying voice you're hearing in the background. Imagine how many times I had to hear her say this over the course of an hour. Yes, this took me an hour. And yes, I did manage to beat her.
Indeed.
Oh, and then we get to Stage 6. Stage 6 is this annoying, stupid, never show your face again, you stupid bird, you killed the run. Bird. Yeah, this is the... No! No. You don't get the chance to talk. No. So... yeah, unfortunately, this close to the end, I had to give up here. I figured there was simply no way to attack him quickly enough, powerfully enough, and get him not to constantly offset until he gets fever and outdoes your chain. You could start to build something big, but he'll get his 4 to 6 chain started before long, and by the time your counter is over, he's already started to offset and probably got fever ready. There wasn't even a close match where I thought just maybe I could pull it off like the last 2. This is where the run ended. On hard mode. I put the game down for a day, set it to easy mode, and tried again. What I got was something that was very easy. Should go without saying normally, but even for the sake of the challenge run, it didn't give me that hard of a time at all. I even made it to... hold on. 1 sec. Okay, here we go. Just let me... Spoiler! I even made it to Carbuncle. Took me a couple of tries, but I won as it is. And in doing this on easy mode, I found something out. It's really easy to strategize and find ways around the AI when they aren't constantly killing you. What I specifically found out is that making a really quick power chain being when you pop more than 1 group of Puyo at once, is not something the AI deals with very well. So, against my better judgment, I ignored my sanity and I got to the stupid bird again on hard mode. I tried it out, and what do you know? I actually won! When doing a challenge run like this, it's really important to not try and get everything done in a sitting or even a single day, or else you think things that aren't run killers are run killers. And I'm gonna be honest. Spoilers, boy! You get the idea. Miss Accord and Popoy weren't very hard either.
Oh well.
In fact, they didn't even lose to garbage or anything. They both just kind of lost. It was weird. Anticlimactic, but with how annoying this was, I'll take it. Stupid bird. Speaking of the stupid bird, though, I actually beat it in a satisfying way, and that is what I care about. At the end of the day, more than anything else, this challenge just really annoyed me. Not having the option to offset at all is what made the first Puyo game a train wreck, and having to work around the game's mechanics to avoid offsetting really drained me. Not to mention, Puyo Pop Fever specifically, like I said before, controls really poorly. And honestly, until about the halfway point for the Hara Hara course, and I suppose the final battle for the Wacka Wacka course, this wasn't even all that hard. The difficulty just hits you really suddenly and really quickly, which makes it all the more tedious finding a way around the really ridiculous stuff. Well, to conclude, it is, in fact, possible to clear all 3 campaigns of Puyo Pop Fever without entering Fever mode even once. It's insanely hard, really hard, but it's doable. I'm glad I did it, I guess, but honestly, this just makes me want to play Fever normally again. It's a really fun game mode, and you should really try it out. If you want to play Fever, or even Puyo Su, I highly recommend looking into Puyo Champions. It's cheap, you can play with other people, online or offline, and wow, the English dub is miles better. Take your pick if this game's dub is funnier or not, but the quality is easily leaps and bounds ahead of this one. And if you get Puyo Champions on Switch, who knows, maybe you'll see me on there at some point, and we can play. Until then, please share the video around so more people can watch it, and then those people who are watching it can like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, as can you. If you pop 4 of those things next to each other enough times, you'll go into Fever mode yourself. I have no idea what that was supposed to mean.
Indeed.
I'm Kirby Fan. Thanks again for watching. Take care.
Indeed. 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 Indeed.
Shut up!